We got a little different point of view today. I'm fortunate enough to be able to use this lift here. Figure I'd get a couple jobs done while it's here. First job, the transmission cooler that I mounted. I had ran like rubber lines, and this was the style that blew off on the transmission when it was in my driveway idling, when I got it to run for the first time. So we're gonna switch over to, I've got these compression fittings. I just put this fitting on here to, like I did with my fuel line, I didn't want to drop it, beat it up, and then it's no good, so I just put that on there to save it. But I've got these these are the same I use for the fuel lines. They can actually take high pressure. There we go. So I got a bunch of that line. I've bought all the fittings that I need to do this job. How I'm imagining this is going to go. I've got a little bender here from the auto parts store, a rental tool. I'm going to, just like the factory lines, these are a little thicker though. These are 3/8. I think the factory lines are like 5/16 or something. But I'm going to use this crimp. I'm not going to use these. We're just going to cut this off. We're going to use these crimp fittings here. These what do you call these things? Compression fittings. It's compression to AN is what these are. Let me hold on. There you go. It just converts it over to an AN fitting. So I'm gonna go. I think I might move one of these. It's in the way. But I got this bracket here that I just took off of a core engine that was sitting over here. I'm gonna put that there. I think that's where that belonged to begin with. And then we're gonna run up through here somehow. I'm going to bring these lines back here. Not quite sure how I'm going to run this yet, but the whole goal is to hook up those two lines that are looped together. I got no cooling on this transmission right now. I want to loop these two together, or not loop them together, run them to the cooler lines, and get them up to the radiator and that other cooler. That's the first task. The second one is, I didn't realize I had these because I could never, oh look, I can fix this too. Oh yeah, that's safe. See, I couldn't get under here before, so I got a couple shady things going on. I can fix this stuff finally. But we've got this. And you know, when I put this together, I didn't even know, like, maybe I can get away with using that one. I don't really know. But hopefully this isn't in the way. I want to be able to use this again. So we'll see. I don't know. If I can't use that, I'm going to have to stick with this thing that I made. It just, the shifter feels wonky, you know. So there's that. Anyway, those are the two things I was wanting to get done. I think I'm going to fix this. I forgot I did this. This all needs to be secured. Yeah, I did that because it was just hanging down. Oh yeah. Okay. So I'll take care of this too. But for now, let me figure out how I'm going to run this. I would set up the camera and do time lapse, but it takes up so much battery. And I don't want to run the battery dead while it's sitting there and I mess around with this for an hour or two. So I'm going to turn the camera off and I'll turn it back on once I figure out what I'm doing. Alright, I laid everything out here that I'm going to use. Some of this stuff got rained on, so it's a little wet. I just got to dry it off. And some of this stuff's used because I just took the line apart that was on the transmission, which these are reusable. It's a nice thing about them. This was that line right here. We're ditching that. So first thing I'm going to do, the pressure line that comes off of the transmission it's going to run up and then go to the radiator. And the way this works, the top hose is hot water coming out of the engine into the top of the radiator. As it goes down, the air cools it. So I'm going to have this fitting here coming off of the pressure out of the transmission, and then the one down here, I don't even know if I can get my hand, the one all the way down there, you know what, I've been meaning to take this out forever. There we go. That's the old line. Did that say heater core hose? What in the world was I doing? I don't know, this is some AutoZone stuff. Not saying what I've bought is any better. Let me take this over here. Okay. Anyhow, the one I want to work with now. The one I want to work with now is that one down there. I'm going to bring that out. I just cut myself. Loop it around. I'm going to bring it to this fitting here. Then this one's going to go from here back to the transmission. So this one I'm going to work on right now. I'm going to get, I didn't even check to see if these are the same, so hopefully they are. So let me get, I'm going to make, that's my first line I'm going to make. I burned myself and I just cut it on the, this stuff. That's awesome. So, yep, let me get everything set up for that one line and we'll start doing that. There we go. I got my first line made up. So that straight piece is going to come out of the bottom of that through the hole that I made a long time ago, and then this one's going to come off of that. So start putting that together. Found a better way to get my hand down here. Let me flip this light around so you guys can actually see what's going on. There we go. You know, I don't even realize it until I'm like editing these videos that like I'm breathing into the camera, and I don't know if it bothers anyone else, but it like triggers me that I can hear the huffing and puffing going on. So I keep forgetting. I do apologize for that. All right, there we go. So that's that. And then as far as the front of this goes, I got to retrieve the line. Here it is. Put it through this little hole right here, without getting a bunch of dirt in it. And I've only mounted this with the things. This is the, is it Darrell? No, it's a Hayden. You know, the things that it comes with. I didn't like make a bracket. That's one of the things. Let me set you on a tripod. There you go. Okay. That was one of the things I used right out of the box, was these cushion things, which I've been using them since I was a kid. Never really had them fail. I know you can't really reuse them. Okay, so that's that. Alright, now I gotta work. This is the return line that's gonna go to the forward fitting. It's time to run some metal lines, so I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do there and start bending tubing. So let's figure that out. So this is my first line here. This is the front coming out by the radiator, and that comes out by the transmission. Sits in there like this. This little tool that I rented, I thought I was gonna put like bigger radiuses in. I went in the wrong hanger in the thing, and I had to put some more bending in, and it actually started to like kink the line. So I bent it out a little bit, and then I put this other bend in here, just a little bit to get it straight. Anyway, I went with this bigger line for a couple of reasons. This is what the transmission line would normally look like. I think it was 3/16. I said 5/16 earlier, but this is what the transmission line would normally look like. I went with the big 3/8. So this little bit of a, it's not horrible, but it's, you know, it's not completely kinked or anything. That's probably the worst one right there. I don't think it's going to hinder anything. But I got the compression fittings on each side to AN, and I'm going to route this back in there one more time and this is going to be my pressure out to the radiator. And then I can start making the one that's the return from the cooler, the external cooler, back to the transmission. So let me get this routed in place, and I'll show you what I'm talking about, where the hanger is, why I had to do this, which I'm no professional at this. You know, this is just a guy in his hobby, you know. So let me get it on the truck. Hopefully you can see that. So this is where I had to kink it a little more. What in the world just happened? This is where I had to kink it a little more. I was on this one, but the feed line is the top one. The lower one is the one that's going to the return from the cooler. That's going to go in here. Then I'm going to bend that up, come around here, and then I got to secure this somehow. But that's going to come straight out to this hole. So this one here, I'm going to lower it down. I'm going to run this up to the top of the radiator. That's going to feed in. That's the hot fluid coming out, and we'll continue on. Alrighty, we got another line. I should have bent these two at the same time. I wasn't thinking. But it's there, they're clipped in. I need one more 90-degree bend. I used it up on the radiator. I thought I was going to use a 45-degree, but I wound up using a 90-degree for that one there, this one. So, yeah, and then this is the other end where these come out. I got to make another bracket. I'm going to come off of this, I think, to secure these so they're not bopping around. And that's it. I gotta wait for I've already ordered the other 90-degree bend that I need for here. I just gotta wait for Amazon to deliver them, and then I'll move on to the next thing. I think that's it for today. I'm going to go home. It's pretty early in the morning, and spent too much time on this. It's nice being you know, somewhere where it's nice and quiet and nobody's bothering you. It's relaxing. Anyway, till the next one. I got an ambitious plan for tonight. My fittings came in, the 90-degree, the one that I was just missing, and I bought a second one because of that one I wasn't sure of got screwed up from when I dropped the fuel rail and it was leaking. I wound up replacing the male end of it, but just in case it's leaking, I bought another one. Anyway, I got everything to like mount this. This is for the water to air charge air cooler. I finally found a fitting that would go in here, but it's not tapered enough, so I got one of two options. Either get a die and cut this, because you know a pipe thread's tapered, so I can cut this to where it'll fit in here. Like I can get one thread on it, or I have a tap. I can attempt to tap this. What I'm afraid of though is the thing in there that it is welded into. I could hit that and ruin that weld, or I could crack this. So I'd much rather find the die and cut this back. So we'll see what happens there. I can barely catch a thread. Like it's close. It's so close. Right there. That's not quite how you want to do it. But anyway, that's you know, I don't know. Maybe if I find something other than black iron, you know, maybe some copper, because this fits no problem. This is like a heater core thing that would go into a small block Chevy intake manifold. You know what I mean? So it's probably this. I don't think it's this. It's what you get when you buy car parts from Tractor Supply. Anyway, we're going to take these over to the shop where the truck's on the lift and put these on. I'm going to fix the fuel line while I'm there. I got to go to Walmart on my way over there. And then I got to go to Walmart to get the transmission fluid because we're adding 2 coolers. I'm guaranteed to be like a gallon low. So I'm going to pick up like 2 gallons. I'm going to run it through a heat cycle. make sure nothing leaking, and then I'm going to put it back on the trailer and tow it back over here. So that's where I'm headed off to right now. All right, I just came back from Walmart. We got some of this. Got 2 gallons of that. This is a little bit I had left sitting at the house. And then we got our 2 fittings here. I'm just going to open one for now to finish this, and then I'm going to start it up, see if anything's leaking. That looks like what I need. Perfect. All right, let's get this on the line. And I got to admit, every time I order these, I always get like something different. They're always designed different. They're never consistent. For example, the first batch I got, you just pushed it in. This one, you actually screw it on the line. So I kind of like that they added that. Because this is just like a, you know, generic Russell Earls knockoff, you know what I mean? All right, let's move over to the truck. That's the last one I needed, little tiny hose. Well, let's get her on the truck, put some fluid in this thing. All right, there's the line I just put in. You can figure out what this goes to, a ground wire. But that's it. All the transmission lines are connected. I took this time to refit this. This is from the 700 R4. So it was like, because that thing, I got another one. You see how long that's supposed to be? This transmission is significantly wider, which really shoves this thing in. Hopefully it won't bind up. I still got this little dude here. I'm gonna save this. I gotta go top side and finish hooking this thing up. But I gotta hook this up too. I never hooked the vacuum line up for it. And I'm missing a screw right here, fell out. So I gotta check all these again. I haven't gotten to the point where I've been able to operate this, so I don't know if it even works. Doesn't appear to have been leaking. Should never have been opened yet. So anyway, let me go top side. I got to connect that thing to that, which so far it looks like it's in the right spot. And I got a couple things. Brand new AutoZone power steering pump. Thing is leaking like a sieve. So we got the power steering pump and coolant still. I think the coolant is leaking from my bypass tube for the heater core, the little loop-de-loo thing. Can't see it from down here. But I gotta get it from the top side. Yeah, it's above these pulleys. And then I wanted to make a bracket to secure these lines from like here, just to, you know, keep them to where they're not in trouble. Whoa, sorry. But I think that's it. This will get me going a little bit. See, I got like wiring. This here used to go to the firewall. It came over here now. Now it's like in the way of getting caught up in these pulleys and stuff. So I got a bunch of little things I got to do yet. Wiring. Wiring's like my last thing, I think. Once I figure out what I'm doing, then I can do all the wiring. But let's get this on the ground. I'm going to finish hooking up the shift linkage. And then we'll put some fluid in it, get it running, get her back on the trailer. We're gonna get it back into my shop, and I'm gonna finish the water to air radiator brackets. Or finish, I haven't even started yet, but we're gonna put that on and hopefully find a fitting for them. Put the pump on, do a little bit of wiring there, and get this thing where it's kind of more roadworthy. Oh, you know what? I've got to shorten up my fuel line, so it might be up and down a couple more times. Let me lower it down and see where I'm at up there. Alrighty, I shortened this up by 1 inch to make this like work. And I accidentally, like, I had this flipped around the long way, so it was hitting this when you went all the way up into like second and first. So I thought it was an issue over here, and I flipped this thing upside down, and I thought it was in park, and I was filling it up. I was checking, it didn't look like there's a seal there, but there is. I was checking, I was running it and adding fluid to it, and I felt it like lurching forward. And this torque converter has such a stall on it that you know, it didn't run me over, thank God. I did have the wheels blocked. So, look, I spilled fluid everywhere. But thank God for the, you know, God was looking out for me on this one. But, got this all straightened out, and I flipped this around the right way, flipped this thing around the right way, and now my indicator, before the indicator on the dash wasn't like lined up right. And I was like, oh well, maybe there's a difference between a 700 R4 and a 4L80. I'll look on eBay tonight. And almost getting run over by the truck, checking the fluid, realized I had this all wrong. So this is it. If you want to put a 4L80 and a 1500, take an inch out of this. And I did put channel locks on here and tweak this a little bit, only because it was hitting my wastegate. You don't need to do that if you don't have a wastegate. So that's it. I'm going to load this up on the trailer and we're going to head to the house.